everyone, welcome back to the Laurbrary. I'm Laura. Today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up. So I did not do incredibly well on on fulfilling my ambitious TBR from December. I mean, honestly that's a lie because every book that I did read was on my TBR and I ended up reading 16 books still, but I didn't read a couple of the novels that I had planned on reading. A lot of the books that I did read were audiobooks, and I listened to the audiobooks and I read some graphic novels. I'm still proud of myself. I'm very much a mood reader, and a couple of the books that I had picked up, I just didn't end up reading them. So I'm going to talk about the books that I did end up reading in the month of December. I only have one of them because the rest were either audiobooks or from the library and they've been returned, so I don't have those, but I'm still going to talk about these. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Kate Burkholder series by Linda Castillo. Now this series is about a police chief from a small town called Painters Mill in Ohio, and her name is Kate Burkholder. And in this little town, it is basically split up between Amish and the English, or normal, the normal people who aren't plain, like the Amish, as they call them. And so basically in the first novel, there is a serial killer that people believe has come back to town after like 13 years or something like that. And each of the books does involve the Amish community in some form, and I read number 1 through 8, and there were a couple of novellas included in that. So in total, I read 11 of these. I believe there were like three novellas and 8 novels. And of these, I gave 9 of them 4 stars, 1 of them 3 stars, and 1 of them 2 stars. And the 2-star was one of the novellas, and I just really didn't like it. That's one I ended up having to read because they didn't have the audiobook of it. But I do plan on continuing this series. I really loved it. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but Linda Castillo's writing is actually very, very good, and the narrator of the audiobooks is awesome. Like, I love her. She does a great job. So I do plan on continuing the rest of this series in 2018 and hopefully finishing it. She does have 1 book coming out this year, and I'm guessing it's going to continue, but I'm going to finish what has been published this year. The next book I read was the manga Doubt Volume 2 by Yoshiki Tonogai, and I had talked about the first volume that I read, and then that I was going to read the second. This is about a group of teenagers who are playing this game where they have to figure out who is the wolf in sheep's clothing, and they end up getting kidnapped and wake up in this warehouse, and one of them is killed in front of them, and they basically have to figure out how to get out of this and have to figure out who is the wolf in sheep's clothing. I did give 4 stars to the first volume, but I only gave 3 stars to the second. I just didn't like it as much, and it wasn't bad. Like, 3 stars is actually good for me. That's average. But I just did not like it that much, and I wasn't real crazy about how it ended up. But I did like the art style, and I did like the writing, so I still really did enjoy reading it. The next one I read is also a graphic novel, and that was Amulet Volume 2, The Stonekeeper's Curse, and this is by Kazu Kibuishi. And I only gave this 3 stars, and to be honest, I am not going to continue in this. It is a children's graphic novel series about 2 children and their mother who move into a house after their father has been killed, and they find this amulet, and it takes them to another world, and their mother's kidnapped. They have to save her and, figure out how to save this other world. I'm not crazy about the art style. I know a lot of people do like this, but it's just not for me, so I don't believe I'm going to be continuing in it. Next, I read Saga Volume 7, and I've talked about this in my other TBRs and wrap-up. Saga is basically about a planet and a moon that have been in war with each other for years. They hate each other, but one person from the planet and one person from the moon fall in love, have a baby, and are basically on the run. I really enjoyed all of these. Volume 7, I gave 5 stars. I really, really loved it. Volume 8 came out in December, and I am just waiting for my library to get it so that I can finish up this graphic novel series, because it is amazing. You should definitely pick it up if you haven't. And the next book that I read is The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey, and this was the only one that I owned. Now, this book is about an older couple that moves to Alaska to start a new life, but they have been growing apart because they were not able to have a child. The wife is very depressed, and the husband is not sure how they're going to survive through the winter because they're having a lot of trouble farming and just don't know how they're going to survive. Now, one day they make a little snow child, and in the morning they wake up and the snow child has been destroyed, but there's a little girl running around, and they basically end up finally getting this little girl to trust them, but she's not really normal. There's something different about her, but this just follows them through the years with this little girl. And I really enjoyed this. I ended up giving this 4 stars. The ending was not really my favorite, but I still really did like this. This was a very slow burn book. I read this from December 4th to the 22nd. And I'm a very fast reader, but this was not a book that I wanted to read quickly, and that didn't lower the rating for me at all. That actually probably made it better. Like I said, only 4 stars because I did not really enjoy the ending. It wasn't my favorite part of the book, but this is a wonderful, wonderful book. It's very sad, it has heartbreaking moments, but it's also very joyful at times, and it just feels, the people in it feel very real, and even though it has that fantastical element, but I really, really loved this, and I think you should read it. Pick it up. It was really fun to read in the winter because you know, this in the snow in Alaska, it felt very cold and crisp, and like I said, I just loved this. It was great. And the last thing that I read in December was another graphic novel, and that was Lock and Key, Volume 3 by Joe Hill. And I've talked about this before, but this is about a family that moves into their father's house after he is murdered, and they discover all these keys that have paranormal abilities. I gave this volume 3 stars. I really did not like it as much as the previous 2. I've kind of had weird feelings about this graphic novel series. I am going to continue it. I know a lot of people really love it. Like, I do enjoy the story a lot, but there's just something about it that hasn't clicked for me to loving it. But I didn't hate it, and like I said, I'm still going to continue. So those were all of the books that I read in December. Like I said, I did kind of fail because there were like 3 or 4 novels that I had planned on reading and I didn't, but I did read like 11 from one series, or listen to them, and read another novel that took me quite a while to read throughout the month. So I'm still proud of myself. Let me know if you've read any of these books and your feelings on them, or let me know if you have any questions about them. Like I said, please comment below, like the video, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'll be uploading hopefully a lot of videos this month. I'm going to be pre-filming a lot. So I really hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.